Hello, I'm Glen Aiken. I'm the director of North Florida Research and Education Center with units at Quincy, Mariana, where we are right now, and Live Oak. I want to welcome all of you to this virtual field day. We're all dealing with the pandemic, and I appreciate your patience. We're getting our research done early in the pandemic. We were forced to get a little bit behind in getting things harvested and planted, but we're now our research programs are pretty much going full bore right now. Unfortunately, on the extension side, uh, we've not been able to have any face-to-face meetings, and we're now ramping up using virtual meetings like this one. We appreciate your patience, but I think we're finding out with our virtual meetings, we can get our information out to you. And so, but when we get all this behind us, we'll go back to having face-to-face meetings and look forward to it. But we appreciate your patience with us for the time being. I appreciate the opportunity to give you an update on the center and to give my thoughts about sod-based rotation and grazing of cover crops in general. This is systems research, and North Florida, having our 3 units here in Mariana and at Quincy and Live Oak, gives us an opportunity to really do a very good job in doing systems research. Now, what's systems research? Sod-based rotation is a system. If we're talking about the component or doing research on a crop, a row crop, that's component research. That's just a part of the system. But when you bring Bahia grass in, or a cover crop during the spring and fall, then it's a whole system. And so it takes a multidisciplinary approach to do that kind of research. And we have the faculty spread across 8 academic departments that are well suited to do this kind of research. We have all the faculty that can join efforts in studying this system. Dr. David Wright is a row crop agronomist. He's in charge, of course. He was the one that initiated this type of system. We have plenty of people working on the forage side. We have Dr. Jose Dubay that's working in forage management, grazing management. We have Dr. Nicholas Dubay, who does beef cattle nutrition. We have a reproductive physiology, Dr. Ganella. And then we also have plant pathologist, Dr. Ian Small works with David on the sod-based rotation, and we have entomologists. If suddenly there's infestations of insects. So we're very well suited. And then we have Dr. Cheryl Makoviak, who is a soil scientist who works on the soil side. And last but not least, we have a forage geneticist, Dr. Ann Blunt, who is also working with the program. She does genetics work with Bahia grass and small grains. And so we have a full complement of scientists doing this systems research. And so we're very well suited for this. I'm very proud not only of this systems research, but other systems projects that we're doing as well. We kind of consider ourselves to be the systems research center in IFAS. We're the most diversified group of faculty. So let me give you my thoughts, because I spent most of my career as a forage beef cattle researcher working for USDA before I took this position. The beef cattle industry in the U.S. has been defensive on a number of fronts. There's been concerns about the environmental impact of beef cattle grazing. Everything from soil compaction to nutrient runoff and just overall degradation of grasslands. And so what David Wright's program, which is this sod-based rotation, this has been studied for a few decades now, and they have shown by adding cattle to the rotation that there is not the soil compaction. The compaction occurs in the top 4 to 6 inches. Below that, there seems to be a benefit based on comparing root systems of peanuts and cotton on those lands that have been grazed by cattle versus those that haven't. There seems to be an opening of the structure, and they're showing more robust root systems of cotton and peanuts if cattle are part of the rotation. Also, too, by the cattle, we know that the cattle will enhance nutrient cycling, and that seems to carry over to the crops. And so there is a benefit without serious runoff from these lands. There's a true benefit to the plants. And also because of the increase in the robustness of the root systems, improvement in nutrient cycling, they're actually seeing benefits on yield of cotton and peanuts. And so this is very good news, because this is showing a benefit of the cattle actually being part of the rotation system. It would be recommended for not only in sod base having cattle on the Bahia grass, but it shows a benefit of cattle grazing cover crops when it is time for those cover crops to be grazed. So it adds another option to cattlemen. The row crop producers, that's what they do. They grow row crops. They may not want to get into the cattle business. They have an option to, but they also have an option of making agreements with cattle to bring cattle on and graze on their lands, which I'm sure there would be plenty of cattlemen that would be willing to do that. And so it would generate a very good partnership between row crop producers, cattle producers, in something that really, from an environmental standpoint, I don't see anything wrong here. But again, as a beef cattle forage researcher, I have to say this is pretty exciting news, and I think we need to get this information out to cattle producers and row crop growers, because out of my career, this is probably the most exciting research I've come across. So again, I appreciate David's program putting this video together, and I hope it gets a lot of viewership. Thank you very much.